Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to have a look at inputs using something called a scanner in Java. Okay, so when we do this, I've already created my project. I've just used the same one from the last video, but if you want to create a new one and call it something like scanner, feel free to, then you can look back for your revision. So the first thing I have to do is I need to import the actual libraries that deal with the scanner. So I'm going to import java dot util dot scanner. Okay, now you might see some people when they do this, if you've been watching YouTube videos or whatever, instead of dot scanner you might see they do an asterisk, which is fine. What this does is it just basically imports everything, but we don't need everything. So in terms of running a more efficient program, I'm just going to do that. But if you ever do need to import everything, the asterisk is the thing you need to do. So we've imported the library there. You can see there's a kind of a semi error in there saying that you've basically telling me I've imported this, but I'm not using it. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my scanner. So a scanner is of a type scanner. So I'm going to say scanner, and then I'm going to give it a name. So let's call it, I'm just going to call it keyboard for no other reason than that I'm going to use the keyboard to input it. So my scanner is now called keyboard, okay, when I'm referring to it. So the scanner keyboard is equal to a new scanner, and then in brackets system.in, and then close brackets. Okay, so I've said I'm creating a scanner, and that scanner is going to be called keyboard, and it's equal to a new scanner, and it's going to be a system.in. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to use a system out to just maybe say something like hello, what is your name? Okay, and then I don't need to do that. I can create the actual variable that's going to put the name that I write into a variable that's going to have the name that I write put into it. All right, so I can say, well, it's going to be a string because it's a name, and I'm going to call it name, and I'm going to make it equal to keyboard dot next line, open close brackets. Okay, and now I'm just going to do a, and then let's say hello plus name plus nice to meet you. Okay, so let's have a quick overlook of what we've done. Zoom in a bit. I've created a scanner called keyboard, and it's equal to a new scanner with system in. Then I've given an output command just to tell the user what I want them to input. Then I've created a string called name, and it's equal to whatever the keyboard is dot next line. Then I've said system out and hello, not hello, plus name, nice to meet you. So hopefully it will tell me my name, ask for my name, and then when I put my name, it will say pleased to meet you. So let's have a look. So we can see down here, what's your name? My name is Chris, and it says, hello, pleased to meet you. Okay, so now I want to do the same, but I'm going to use an integer. All right, so I'm going to say int, and then I'm going to say age, and I'm going to make it equal to keyboard dot next, and now it's not next line for this one, it's next int, because this is an integer. Okay, so normally it's the next whatever data type it is, so in this case it's int, but when you do a string it's next line. All right, and now I can, let's give me a second, you know what I haven't done? I haven't put the output line to tell someone to enter their age. So how old are you? Question mark. And then we create the variable called age to put the input from the keyboard, and now I can just output let's go name, because we've got the name from before, plus you are, and notice I put the spaces in between the at the end of the thing, and that's what's going to put the space in my sentence. Otherwise the name and the you would be joined together. Okay, and then you are plus age plus space years old, space, like that. Okay, so hopefully now it will say pleased to meet you, Chris, and then once I put my age in, it will say Chris, you are 8 years old, or whatever name I put in. It might not say Chris if I don't say put Chris there. And let's test that. I'll put somebody else's name. Let's put Bob in there. So it will say, hello Bob, nice to meet you, how old are you? Bob is 67 years old. Bob, you are 67 years old. Okay. Right, now there's one thing that I do want to look at with this, and it's if I create a integer, okay, with a scanner, and then I'm planning to have a string right after it. So it could maybe be something like string last name, and then there's equal to, what was it, keyboard dot next line. Now if I do something like this, what will happen, and it's just when I use the integer, yeah, the integer, it won't do the /n, the return carriage after it. So what will happen is this line of code will carry on the same line, which will mean it won't run, or will run, you just won't see it. So what you need to do to counteract this is just put keyboard dot next line, like that, and all that will do is it will knock it down to the next line, so you can then use the string. Okay, and then you can collect your data. So if we do it like this, so I go system out, let's see, last name, and then I can say, just keep it simple, your full name is, and then remember put the space plus, and then I can put name, and then I want a space in there between the two, plus last name. And what have I missed? There's a plus missing there. Okay, so now when I run this, we'll see that I run it, it will ask me my name. Let's just go Chris, nice to meet you, how old are you? I'm 42. You're 42 years old. What is your last name? Tough. And then it says your full name is Chris Tough. Now let's just say, for example, I'll just comment this out, okay, and then if I run this again, you'll see what I'm talking about. So what is your name? Bob. Hello Bob, pleased to meet you, how old are you? 78 years old. So you can see here it kind of skips, yeah, it doesn't do the same thing as we did before. It goes straight into what is your last name, and then your full name is Bob. So that's because we haven't put this next line in. Okay, it's just ran things straight along the lines as if they're on the same line of code. So what this does is just knocks it to the next line, and it can stop, and we can take in the inputs that we want to input from here and then output it. Okay, so that's pretty much it for scanners. There is a little bit more, but we'll go through them and we'll do them more and more as the course goes on. All right, just remember it's next line when we're doing strings, and any other data type, it's the next, and it's the type of data you're putting in. So it'll be next double or next char or something like that. And also just remember that although when you create an integer, it's a small I, when you're using next int command, it's a big I. Okay. And for now, I think that's it. Just keep practicing it, make some code up yourself, or if you want some little tasks to do, come and see me and I will give you them just to get you to write them. Now, remember, the more you do now, the less you will have to research doing your internal assessment, which means you can focus on writing the code and getting a better mark. All right? So it's really important that we keep practicing this. And I'll see you next time.